Good afternoon, guys. This is Carlos Samaniego coming to you live from my office here in Redlands, California. $94,000 tax debt, 8 years. Our client was dealing with, and I got some exciting news. Do you know somebody who's actually gotten a tax bill, or maybe you've gotten a tax bill and you're like wondering, what the heck? Why is the IRS sending me this tax bill? Now, normally those are small balances, right? You would think maybe a few $100s, maybe a couple $1,000s. You don't know what it is. Well, I had a client that hired me back last year, September of last year, for a tax bill of just over $93,000. I can tell you specifically, it was $93,877. That was the exact amount that this client has been dealing with for a tax year of 2018. Now, what's interesting about this case is that the client filed a tax return married filing jointly. Taxpayer did not owe any money for that tax year, thought everything was fine and dandy. And then a couple of years later, it gets a notice from the IRS that they owe $94,000, except that wasn't the tax bill wasn't in his name, but it was in his wife's name. Kind of interesting considering he's filed a return married filing jointly that happened. But here's the thing, guys, and this is what I tell people all the time. Just because the IRS says you owe the money doesn't necessarily mean you owe the money. And this was a classic situation in his case. $94,000 tax bill for his spouse when they already filed a tax return, yet the IRS started collection action against them. This was back in 2018. So here we are, 2018, so they get that bill. So what do? They actually find one of those agencies that you hear on the radio, settle your debts for pennies on the dollar. You've heard them, radio and television, late night radio, dealing with IRS, hired them. They said they were going to help them. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. In fact, they actually stopped answering the phone for them. Excuse me. Anyways, so he comes to me September of last year, and I see the problem. I see it immediately. Just reviewing the transcripts and seeing what's going on. And I said, I know how to resolve this, and we can get it resolved. And we did. And that happened today, this morning. We actually found out. I got to report to him. And this is not even the client that I've been talking about that got $190,000 wiped out. This is the client. This is a totally different client that has $94,000 got wiped out. The IRS specifically told him, you know what? You are right. We don't owe this money, and we're taking the balance to zero for your spouse. So a problem that he's been stressed out, worried about, unable to sleep, terrified that the IRS was going to come after his bank accounts, just living a tax nightmare, went to zero. So when he booked an appointment today, and I explained it to him, he says, this is hard to believe. Are you sure they're not going to come back after me? I said, absolutely not. That's what we do here at Tax Debt Consultants. So, if you know anybody dealing with this, here's the thing, guys, and this is really important. Just because you have a tax bill, especially if you can't afford the tax bill, don't assume that you owe the money. Get a second opinion. We'd love to take a look at what's going on, the story behind how you got in that tax bill. That's what happened with him. If you want that, we are here to help you. If you haven't picked up my book, Stop Hiding from the IRS, this is my newest book. You can pick this book up for free at Escape the IRS. I have it at 2 different sites, or Stop Hiding from the IRS. It goes to the same book, Stop Hiding from the IRS. Go pick up my free book. Costs you nothing. Don't have to talk to nobody. Read through it. But if you really have a problem and you really need to decide, need to work on, need to deal with your tax problem, give us a call. I'm a real person. Friday afternoon here at work, and that's what we do, and that's what I love doing. With that, thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye for now.